Hey, Brisso,
Yes, Steve.
can you set the Starlink up so I can ring Finny for his birthday?
Yeah.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Finny.
right. Oh, yeah, I forgot about that. I'll do that now.
Thanks. G'day guys, Vic and Bliss here. Just coming to you this afternoon to give you a rundown and review on our Starlink. So we've had the Starlink at least 6 months and we've been using it constantly while we've been on the road the last 4 through South Australia and WA. So, Starlink, what do we think?
Yeah, well, I think it's easy to set up, and I think it is well worth having.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I think so. So we'll go through in a minute the good bits about bad bits, but I think it's great that it works really well, and it's worked better for us than actually having the phones as far as service goes, because we've been in a lot of areas where there's been no service, so therefore this will take over from that phone service, and you know, if you're going to use your phone on it, it will act as a normal phone via the Starlink through the Wi-Fi system.
So the Starlink powers your phone. If we've got absolutely no service, you're in a dead area, which we've been a lot of times, we just hook the Starlink up, I get on my phone and I push Finn and I call Finn for his birthday, or I FaceTime the kids, or I call whoever, or we're at a campsite, which has been the handiest thing. Go into a campsite, look around, find the spot you like, turn the Starlink on and book it. It's been so good for that. So you're not stuck with a campsite you don't love, or, you know, stuck finding a spot but then you aren't able to book it because you've got no service. We've had service whenever we've wanted it, and it's always been reliable. I can't think of a time where there's never been a time we couldn't get it to work.
It's never not worked. Sometimes, like in an area like this, we've got surrounded by trees, there's just a clear sky above us. It takes a little bit longer to search and find the satellite it needs, but it will hook up and it will still work.
Yep.
Eventually, it just takes that little bit longer to sort itself out.
Yep.
But yeah, it's never, as Vic says, it's never not worked.
So the pros for us, like Blisso was saying, the pros for us, you will have a phone anywhere you want. There's not one place that we've been or found that the Starlink wouldn't work as Wi-Fi and our phones wouldn't work as normal. So once the Starlink's on, even if I'm in the middle of the Simpson Desert, my phone will ring. Oh, my sister's calling. It will just ring. It will be a normal phone. So definitely a pro.
Yeah.
It's very easy to set up. You plug it in, plug and play, no dramas. It is tough as nails. We've never been careful with it. We just stick that thing out.
Yeah.
You know,
the modem sits outside on the spare wheel, because we've got to plug outside, and then it just sits out. The dish just sits where it sits.
It's been sandblasted at Paloovi Beach. It's been rained on. Well, I think we had 2 inches of rain on it.
And it's 60-kilometre-hour wind, so it just didn't have to blow it over.
No, so it's absolutely a tough unit.
Yeah.
We have not had any issues with that at all. So very, very positive review from us.
Yeah.
If you're going to say the cons, Bliss, what would you say?
Oh, well, the cons, there's a few of them. So the one biggest con of all is it runs purely off 240 volts.
Yep.
At the moment, there's no actual 12-volt option. People can get them hooked up, but I think it's at a cost, and then you have it permanently hooked up. But for us, the 240 works, so in turn you'll need an inverter or some sort of power in your van, especially if you're off grid, to be able to run it. If you're in caravan parks, you're not going to have any problems at all. The second con is it does use a bit of power when you're off grid, so you wouldn't want to leave it on 24 hours a day. We use it when we need it, usually late in the afternoon or night. When we go to bed, we can make calls or watch TV, movies and things like that. Or during the day, if we go into a campsite, we go and check the site out. If we want to stay, we hook the Starlink up if we've got no service, and then we can book that site that we want. So we're not booking ahead and then finding out we didn't really like the spot and then we have to stay because you're committed. So we've used it for that way as well. So that's worked for us on this trip.
Yeah. So all in all, I would say definitely the Starlink is a really great option if you're going to be traveling long term. It is reasonably expensive. So the unit cost, Blisso?
So when we got the unit at that time was at a half price deal, so it was down from $900 to $450. And at the time we were organising stuff for our trip. So we got it while it was on the cheap. I think now it's cheaper again. I think it's half price again. But at the time it was cheap for us.
Yep.
So we got it, and we didn't just jump in. We watched a few other people who'd used it on YouTube and stuff, and they had really good reviews about it. So we jumped on board and give it a go and see how it went.
And yeah, so and it has been absolute cracker. And then I think after the initial cost, you own the setup. So it's not a rental agreement or anything. We own that Starlink setup now.
Yeah.
And then we pay, because we're using it traveling, we pay $175 a month for it. And that's unlimited, whatever. So we can hook up as many devices as we want. We can use as much service as we want.
It's got unlimited data, so you won't run out of data. So even when we're in a caravan park, we've got full service on our phones. We still hook that up, and it saves our data on our phones for if we need to use it just quickly to book a site or something like that if we've got service. But so we use it over the top of the phones nearly all the time for that reason. We're paying for it, so we may as well use it.
So you can turn it off. So when we get home, we will push pause and we will finish paying out the month of January. As long as we have it turned off by February, we ask them to pause it. We won't have to pay February. And then when we start travelling again, we'll unpause it and we'll start paying from that point. So you pay in month blocks. You can have it turned on, doesn't matter if you use it for 4 days and turn it off again, you pay the month block. So if you're going to pay the month, use the month.
Yeah, keep in mind, once you turn it on and you start, it doesn't matter if you use it for 3 days, you're still paying for the month, so you may as well use it, as Vic said. So $174 a month. Yeah, it's good.
You put that in, it feels expensive, but you put that in perspective of the other kind of options, which are maybe a sat phone, and we looked at a few different sat phones. For reliability wise, they just weren't as reliable or as user friendly as the Starlink seems to be. And it didn't just give you all the options. Like, we are very safe. There's nowhere we could be that I couldn't call 000 if there was an accident. I couldn't call for help, but also there's nowhere that I can't just plug it in and watch Netflix.
Yeah, that's right. Sat phone's got its place, but it's only got one job.
Yeah.
And even then they're not always 100% reliable from what I've heard. I don't know that exactly, so don't quote me. But all they've got one job is to make a phone call or send a message. That's it. So they're pretty cheap on a plan. I think the cheapest I've seen was $15, but you've got to buy the unit, which is about $900 to $1,000, but it's yours. And then any call or text is fairly expensive, but that's all it does. With this thing, we can watch telly, we can ring, we can text, we can upload, download, do all that stuff with it. It'll do it, and it'll do it fairly quickly too. So we have nothing but positive things to say. That's 6 months of use. 4 months of that has been on the road travelling for the last, over Christmas and whatever, and there really isn't a massive negative that we could say. No, there's no.
Be careful of.
The negatives are nowhere near the positives. Like the positives and the travel free, the worry travel free stuff is there, because if anything did happen and you've got no service, you've got that to back you up. As long as you've got something, we've got the inverter, so we can just plug it in the van and away we go. So yeah. So why did we get it initially? Because why did we? I know.
I can't remember.
Number one, because
I would have said something sensible, but really thought I would need the Netflix.
Yeah, because we looked at the boosters.
Yes, we did, the Nighthawk.
The Nighthawk and all those things.
That's
But
right.
what turned us away from those was that we go to a lot of camps, rivers, remote camps and stuff, and 90% of the time there is no service.
No.
If you can get a little bar, it's probably good, but we end up with no service. You've got no service at all, the booster's no good to you. It's not going to work. It can't give you signal, it's not there. And even then, if you've got a tiny little bit, is it enough to boost it to do the things you want to do? I'm not sure because I've never used it. But so this thing, yeah, and it just works.
Yeah.
Like an up, and the other reason too, because we are here on YouTube in front of you guys, I needed to be able to upload episodes, and I could do it through my phone. But if you had bugger all service, either you'd have to wait or it'd be super slow.
Yeah.
Hook that up.
Like hours slow.
Yeah, hours, like 2 or 3 hours. That's on reasonably good service.
And you can imagine how much data you chew through if you are uploading for 3 or 4 hours.
All the time. That
Yeah.
thing, the longest it's taken is 35 minutes. The quickest has been 12 minutes to upload. So it's pretty quick, and you don't have to sit around all day waiting, or have to drive into a town or something to get service to be able to upload your stuff.
Yeah.
So that's made it super easy for us.
Yeah.
And
It's a game changer, really.
100% for us. It's well worth it for us. So, 174 a month. I think it's $199 at the moment, and you get 2 months free. But be aware, once you get your Starlink, first thing you want to do is get it connected on the app and get it all signed
You're
up.
going to download an app to your phone.
Yeah, so
you would have seen it. Bliss showed you his phone and showed you it connecting.
Yeah, that was the app. So you get it connected initially, you get it, you got to put in the numbers, and it'll connect to Starlink or whatever. And then the minute, if you're not going to use it straight away, then pause it from that moment, because they will charge you from the time you get it to the time you pause it. So we had it 2 months before we left. We got charged twice for 2 months usage. We didn't even get out of the box, so we weren't aware of that. So that's another thing you need to know. So yeah, all right.
All right, that's it from us and our review on the Starlink, which we absolutely love. If you've got any questions about Starlink or you want to ask anything, we did this because so many places we pulled up and set it up, people were coming up and asking us about it.
Yeah.
What do we think? So it's obviously a lot of people have got it and a lot of people are interested.
Still looking or don't even know what it is.
So if you're interested or you've got any questions that we haven't answered right now, hit us up. Happy to talk you through it, talk about it.
100%.
Whatever you like.
Yeah.
But anyway, it's old Mac crew out. I better get the old boy some tea.
Yeah, we're getting hungry. It's getting a bit late.
Yeah.
All right. We'll talk to you later.
Okay.